What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Overrated, Underrated with Resilience Training and me, Coach Mike. This is that talk series where you guys give me topics based on fitness, nutrition, and sports performance, and I let you know whether I think they are overrated or underrated. Let's get to your latest responses. Lifting straps, are they overrated or underrated? Now, for some of you who don't know, lifting straps are, let me just get my lifting straps and show you. These are lifting straps, basically an exercise accessory that you wrap around your wrists and you wrap the other end around a barbell of some sorts to improve your grip on said barbell. I would say lifting straps are great to use when you're dealing with weights that are outside of your natural grip strength. Oftentimes I see it in the gym with female lifters and even a lot of my female clients. Their lower body is strong enough to do lifts with greater weight, but their grip strength is not strong enough to hold such weight. So using straps on dumbbells to do lunges or squats, using straps on a barbell to do your RDL will allow you to use the proper weight to stimulate your lower body without the expense of your grip strength. And even though men naturally have stronger grip strength, the same thing applies to men as well. You know, I always preach progressive overload when you're trying to get stronger. So I want you to consider why you haven't increased some of the weights that you're using and some of the movements that you do. Is it because of your grip strength? So I encourage you, buy some lifting straps and see if that doesn't improve some of your lifts. Lifting straps, underrated. Let's get to the next response. Being a dual sport athlete. I love this one. I'm gonna age myself and sound like an old man right here. But when I was younger, it was very rare to have a kid just specialize in only one sport. During soccer season, we played soccer. Then when basketball season came around, we played basketball. Then when spring came around, we played baseball, we ran track, we played lacrosse. But nowadays, it's a lot different. We see more specialization, meaning that one athlete will focus mainly on one sport and play that sport year round. Now, are there pros to that? Yeah, of course, right? You're focusing on one sport, putting more time and effort into that one sport. So you're more likely to see increased gains, right? You're concentrating your time. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. But that's not the question here. The question is, are there more pros being a dual sport or a multi-sport athlete? And of course, you know I'm gonna come with the facts. Being a multi-sport athlete increases your overall athleticism more so than being a one-sport athlete. Let me explain. Different sports require different levels of athleticism across a span of athletic features or traits. Speed, agility, balance, hand-eye coordination, endurance, strength, mobility. The list goes on, but those are some of the important ones. Now, baseball, especially batting, requires high hand-eye coordination, but I would say less agility for the most part and less endurance. Whereas soccer doesn't require that much hand-eye coordination at all, unless you're a goalie, but it requires a lot of agility and a lot of endurance. So an athlete that does both soccer and baseball would have to work high levels of those athletic traits. Now imagine adding another sport into the mix that requires another level of athleticism across different athletic traits. You get the picture. Also, being a multi-sport athlete actually reduces your injury risk. When you're only doing one sport, you're doing only one set of repetitive movements. Does not allow diversity in how you're moving your body. So this ends up opening up the doorway for what we call overuse injuries. Being a multi-sport athlete lets you diversify your movement patterns. So we're not caught doing the same movements the same way all the time. Being a multi-sport athlete also is proven to increase your competitiveness and your gaming IQ. You're put in many more situations that you have to problem solve, that you have to make in-game adjustments. It allows you to see a wider range of pattern recognition, which forces you into a wider range of strategic thinking. And even though the sports may be different, some strategy and thought processes from some sports can easily translate to others. So you become more well-rounded up here. And one factor that people completely miss out on, but one that is very important, is mental freshness and a lower burnout rate. I've trained many athletes over the years who've reached the pinnacle of success in their youth athletic career, only to completely give out and give up on it once they reach the collegiate level. Not because of injury, but because they fell out of love with the game. You know, there's a saying that distance makes the heart grow fonder. The same thing can be applied to a sport. Sometimes taking a complete break from a sport, or let's say teammates that play that sport, or a coach that coaches that sport, and taking some time to enjoy another sport lets you keep the fondness that you have for your primary sport. So I know it may be tough with the pressures that you feel to play your specific sport year round, but I promise you, being a multi-sport athlete is underrated. Let's go to another response. Peptides. Oh man, here we go. I've been getting this question a lot. Okay, so what are peptides? Peptides are short chain amino acids, think like mini protein. And these mini proteins help signal a bunch of processes in the body, like repairing tissue, improving sleep, increasing collagen, supporting metabolism, and regulating hormones. Even though the body makes these amino acid chains, some people get them medically prescribed as supplements, right? You have BJC 157, you have CJC 1295, you got ipamorelin, tesamorelin, semaglutide, the list goes on. If you're a part of a gym or if you're in some kind of fitness community, you probably know someone who's taken a stack of these peptides. But why? Well, I'll tell you what the science says. Peptides can help increase recovery and healing, can help muscle growth, can help with sleep, mood, and energy, kind of like that whole fountain of youth quest that we've been on for 1,000 years. Basically, it helps with anti-aging effects. But the question is this overrated or underrated? And when it comes to these questions, my opinion is always going to be tied to if it's necessary or unnecessary. And I'm always going to speak in general, for the general population. So the question becomes, for the general population, are peptides necessary to achieve all those positive effects that we talked about earlier? And the answer is no. The things that are necessary are what I call the founding fathers of a healthy lifestyle. Quality sleep, strength training, a dialed-in diet, a nutrition plan, constant movement, get your steps in, and hormonal balance, whether you're doing it naturally or you're doing it medically with a professional. Now let's talk about the exception. Let's say that you are a professional athlete, or let's say your job is one that requires a lot of physical activity. Let's say you're a super active adult in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you have that founding fathers foundation down pat, but you're still struggling with nagging injuries, slow recovery, low libido, low energy. Then it makes sense turning towards peptides. It becomes a no-brainer at that point. So if that's you, I suggest you seek out a licensed medical professional. I'm going to say it again, a licensed medical professional who are going to get your supplements from a licensed pharmaceutical source, so you're not taking some and take the supplement while having some kind of system to check up on your blood work periodically. Now, are peptides like magic? Is this going to guarantee results? No. Like any supplement, I'm going to remind you, it's a supplement, which means it's the side dish to a main course. It's not going to do the work for you. You can't escape the work. You still have to put in the work, and the peptides will help enhance the results. So in conclusion, are peptides overrated or underrated? I'm going to go with overrated. If most people stuck to the founding fathers and they did that the right way, they most likely wouldn't need to supplement peptides. All right, let's get into one last response. Is Liquid IV worth the hype? Good question. Liquid IV, you've probably seen it in the store. They do a good job of marketing. Blue Label, it's a powder packet that you put in water that's supposed to help hydrate you. But why do they need to put powder in water? Why don't they just drink the water? Wouldn't that hydrate them? Good question. And the answer is actually no. You see, when we sweat, we lose more than just water. We lose sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, phosphate, and even bicarbonate. These are minerals that collectively we call electrolytes, and those are the same things that are in Gatorade, Powerade, your favorite sports drink. So the concept of hydration is not only to get water back into the bloodstream, but to get these minerals back into the bloodstream as well, so they can help with cellular metabolism. And Liquid IV does just that. Now, to be fair and to be critical and show both sides, some Liquid IV detractors will say, hey, there's 11 grams of sugar in each packet. And that is considerably a lot of sugar if you have a high sugar diet outside of those hydration packs. But I do have two pushbacks against that. My first pushback is this. Did you know that sugar, or glucose, is a necessary component in hydration? Yeah, your body has two hydration pathways, and one requires glucose to pull water into the bloodstream. Crazy, right? This is called the sodium glucose co-transport mechanism, or SGLT1. Basically, sodium and glucose are combined together in the small intestine and they create a pump. And that pump draws water along the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, so you hydrate faster. So believe it or not, the sugar that are in those packets are helping the minerals and the water get into your bloodstream. Second reason that I think the sugar is necessary in those packets is because it makes it taste better. Duh. And while that might seem like a trivial point, I cannot tell you how many clients of mine complain to me about their daily water goals because they hate the taste of water. What does water taste like? But a hack that I've used with many of those clients are telling them to use these hydration packets which flavor the water and make them more inclined to stay hydrated throughout the day. So what's better, not drinking water or drinking water with a little bit of sugar? You can weigh it out for yourself. So for your average exerciser who's sweating a decent amount per day, who doesn't have a high sugar diet, maybe lives in a higher climate area, Liquid IV is a perfect hydration option for you. So overrated, underrated? I'm gonna go with underrated. All right, guys, thanks for watching another episode. You guys know I love to do this, and I'm gonna continue to do this as long as you keep giving me great responses. In the next couple of weeks or so, I'm gonna put out another prompt asking you guys to give me more topics on fitness, nutrition, and sports performance, and I'll do my best to let you know whether I think they are overrated or underrated. Stay resilient.